Hi, Jeff Africa back again. Jeff Africa's Last Dance, the channel where we're making it from the head to the heart, okay? And we're going to stake up new home in this heart chakra and live life from this heart chakra. This is where we're going, and this is where I'm taking you, and you're coming along. There will be no work done here today. No effort needed, discipline required, for as I fall back into these exercises and relax, staying in each breath, staying in each moment, each and every movement in love and in joy. Ever the sharp eye to slow everything down, creating inner space, so the universe can come to me, work through me, doing these exercises for me and for the larger community. No, there will be no work done here today. Okay, that's a nice, powerful affirmation over things that you think are hard or require work. And as you stay in each breath, as you create inner space, as you, all those types of things, as you do that, they become easy. Okay, the movement, the work you're doing becomes a lot easier. Okay, as you slow everything down. Slowing everything down is extremely important. As I slow things down, I experience a lush quality, a sensuous quality in the moment that isn't there if you're on that time track doing things in the normal way, rushing through the day, one thing after the other, okay? Slowing things down, you bring that heart into that moment, and it is a much nicer place to be. Okay, let's wind things up. We compete because we don't love one another. We compete with each other because we don't realize how important it is to love and to help one another rather than compete with one another, okay, in all spheres of life in this 3D reality, okay? We don't know how to love one another, okay? And that's what this channel is all about. It's going to teach us to drop to the heart and begin to love one another, and we'll compete with one another less, okay? We'll be helping one another will be much more important than competing with one another. Very interesting. Here's what I'm trying to say, and this is a very excellent example. I read an article one time, or heard it on something, that a group of Down syndrome children, were having a 100-yard dash. Okay, they were having a play day, and part of it was a few types of fun things that kids do, and fair enough. And they're having a 100-yard dash. Okay, they all lined up on this 100-yard dash. I'm 95% true. This is exactly how it happened. I may be fudging it a little bit, but let's go through this. Okay, so bingo, they start the race. Okay, they all start running down the thing. About the 60-yard line, one of them falls down. Okay, they all kind of stop and they all look back, and the one starts crying. So they go back. They pick up the one that fell down. They grab their hands. They all hold hands, and they all continue running, and they all kind of run over that finish line together. Okay, now leave it to the Down syndrome children, which are very interesting kids as far as I'm concerned. They're not like regular kids, and in some ways they're just very interesting. I wouldn't say better, but they don't have the ego-ness or that mentality that the rest of us have, and they come up with amazing things sometimes. Now that's a very stunning thing. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to say now. If normally in a race, let's say it's a mile race, somebody falls down in a normal competitive environment, the runners are going, oh, he's down, good, he's out of the way. Now I can win this thing. I'm going to retain my legacy. I'm going to be number one. Or he's gone. I'm going to, that whole thing. And that would be the normal course of events. But what I'm trying to say is this. Now, people looking down from the fifth dimension, that love-based unity consciousness, they're going to look at that situation, and there's going to be meaning and value in what those Down children did. Okay, there's going to be more value in that than the second example of, the normal thing where one's down, good now, less for us, we have no problem, we're going to win now. That whole thing, me, and there's less value and less meaning in that, okay? There's more value and more meaning in that example the Down's children are providing for us. And it's just a beautiful thing that happened that day. And the people were stunned, that could happen. I could see, we can all kind of sense that would happen with Down's children. You know what I mean? They're not like us in that sense of needing to win or think it's particularly important that they were number one to cross that line. But that's what I'm talking about here. There's more meaning and more value in what they did than what the normal competitive environment produces. Okay, and it's something we all think about very, very carefully. Like I say, we compete so much because we don't love one another enough. Don't know how to do it in our mind state. Once again, in the fifth dimensional reality, love-based unity consciousness, the competitions are over. Okay, and we're just on to different things. Not to say that we won't have a little bit of fun with that sort of stuff, but it just won't be dire. Golfing. I think golf is such an interesting game. Golf. Whoever thought of it is Scottish. The Scottish thought of golf, and what a mind that put that game together. Because most games are the same. You have a goal or a net or a field goal or field end zone at either end. You try to make it through the defenses and score. Okay, that's basically the thing. Water polo, soccer, football, basketball, lacrosse, all those types, rugby, all those are based on pretty much the same theme, right? But golf is totally different. Whoever put that together, whatever Scottish guy put that together, that's a very interesting mind that did that. I'll watch some golf. I would like to watch the best tournaments, Masters tournaments, Open tournaments. I'll watch, the last day, because it's usually so beautiful. It's just, so are we not going to be playing golf anymore is what I'm trying to get to. Because it's such a, it's part of the human creativity, that game. You know what I mean? So yes, and it's a beautiful day. I would like to play golf next lifetime. I couldn't play it this lifetime. But next lifetime, I would consider playing it. And what a wonderful morning that would be on a golf course, just walking around the golf course and taking in the sights and playing that skill-oriented game. Now, the problem with golf is that people that are golfing are so into golfing and whether they're making it or not making it, they don't really notice their surroundings. They don't know what a beautiful, mainly, they don't notice what a beautiful day it is to be out there playing golf. They're swearing or they don't play it right and blah, blah, blah. And they're all totally involved in the golfingness of everything. But what a wonderful, imagine being on Pebble Beach a Saturday morning playing around at golf. It's cost $400 to play there, yes, I think we will be playing around with stuff like that. But it just won't be competitive based. We'll be having a little bit more fun with it. And golf and some of these other inventions are so much entwined in the human event and human development that yes, we'll probably be keeping them around. But it just won't be so bloody about it. That's all. But I'm just saying, the competition in the fifth dimension, is over. The reality of the fifth dimension, the competition is over, okay? And we'll understand that is a good thing once we get there, although people that are heavy duty into this stuff may want to stick around to a 3D reality so they can play around with stuff like that. Like I said, there's certain things you can learn in this 3D reality, this brutal 3D reality that you're not going to be able to put together in a 5D reality. It's going to be a 5D reality. It's going to be a little bit easier, and it'll be accenting different things that we accent down here. I'm trying to slow myself down and take myself off the track and talk with a little bit more beauty and stuff like that. Okay, politics. The state, now politics is a legitimate human endeavor. Okay, it's not illegitimate like the other examples I've been giving you. Go to the other videos and see. It's legitimate, but these days it is not. Okay, the politics these days is like, picture a cat on top of a pinball machine. Okay, someone's playing pinball and that cat is totally focused on that ball rolling around like that. Over here, totally absorbed in looking at that ball bouncing around the way it does in pinball. That's what the politics is these days. It does nothing. It just saps up your attention and it really doesn't go anywhere. It just bounces off one thing to another and we're looking at it, we're absorbed by it, we're hypnotized by it, and it becomes a detriment, okay? And it is keeping us separate from one another. It's keeping us fighting one another, and there's more important things right now in these energies as we move to the fifth dimension than politics, okay? we teach ideological absolutism. Like I say, the way forward in politics is to get middle of the roader problem solvers. Sometimes they vote Democrat, sometimes they vote Republican, but they're not particularly ideology about anything, and they are problem solvers, and they concentrate on what works. That's who we need in Congress right now, okay? Because everybody thinks so polarized, and there are plenty of those people around in business and military and farmers and all kinds of people in the private sector that are used to solving problems. We need to get them in Congress and start solving problems and they have no particular ideology, and they focus and concentrate on what works. If we try something, it doesn't work, get rid of it. Let's try something else. The problem today is that we incorporate something, it doesn't work, but no one knows it doesn't work, and they don't go back and tweak and fix it, and because we're so bickering and fighting with one another all the time. So that is the way forward. What is wrong in our universities that we teach ideology before we teach inner work and personal growth? Okay, and then we get in an egoic manner, because we're not very developed individuals, we get inculcated with political ideologies, and we become extreme, and we become like, this is it here, okay? This is the ideology. If you don't agree with this, then you're not on our side, and you hate the other side because they're not in with you. And that's what we have to start doing in our colleges. We have to start teaching inner work. We have to start teaching generic spiritual values. We have to start teaching how to get out of here, like we're doing here, out of ego mind and into a new reality where options are open at that point. We're more fluid at that point, and we can think outside the box of ideology. Then if you want to start developing ideas on which way you want to go, fine, look it. Like I say, I'm center right. I don't like leftists or liberals, never did. They have the self-important busybody quality I just don't like. But on the plus there is they think in sort of unity consciousness, in that if we wanted to take health care, they want to have Medicare for all. Fine, I understand that. But we cannot have Medicare in America, Medicare for all, until we do some major reworking of our medical system, because it's just too expensive. And we have to think about how we can start getting those the trends of appreciating in service, money, service, and value. We have to get those trends going downward rather than upward. It's ridiculous how fast they are moving up. Nothing is going to work as long as those price increases happen every year. Okay, so but liberals aren't going to understand that. They're going to want to do it, and it's going to sap the country dry. You know what I mean? So we have a ways to go before we think like that. But I understand their desire to do that. But it's just that they're so stupid, they're not going to do it properly. So I tend to resist that, because it's going to just sap up too much of the economy to give everybody Medicare type of thing. They all pay $200 a month, and you're into the system, like the other countries have. And that's no fix for everything either. There are problems in those systems too. And I want to keep away from one big conglomerate medical health system, huge, because all it becomes is a dead organization, because there's just no life. So we got to think of our own American way of doing these things, and come up with our own way of getting medical care to all the citizens in an intelligent fashion, okay? And then we don't have to follow the Canadian model, the British model, the French model, or whoever it is. But we can pick and choose and really do it smart. But we're not there yet as far as doing it intelligently, okay? It's going to be done stupidly, and it's going to be a big, big problem. And we want to keep the big, huge, complex idea of a big industrial medical healthcare monolith out of the conversation. We want to kind of do it a little bit more subtle than that. So that's what's wrong. We have to start teaching personal growth spiritual values, spiritual, all the spiritual ideas and generic in nature. We don't have to teach God or any religion. We have to start teaching people about spiritual values because that's where the growth is, okay? And then we can work in ideology if we want. So what I am recommending in this whole thing is to step out of the political fight these days. Just step back. That's what I've done. And if you want to get to the heart, you can't afford to be trapped in the to and fro of the political world these days, okay? Because it's just a bunch of nonsense. And I've been there, I know. And you keep your eye on it, and it absorbs your attention, and it keeps you from going inward and doing the work that you have to do. Look at here on earth right now, this particular moment, there are things more important than winning an ideological battle, okay? It keeps us fighting, okay? And that's what we have to start reducing. If we step out of the political battle, become just an observer and non-interested party, just kind of be okay with anything that happens, don't see the other side as the enemy, okay, and constantly bickering and hating one another the way we're doing it, for all concerned, including Mother Earth, be okay with one another, okay? It's teaching us to fight and to separate us, okay? And we got to get rid of that right now. We got to do things that are have us trending toward unity, okay? And we got to hold a space of neutrality for the people on the other side. We can't hate them anymore, okay? We got to hold love for them and acceptance for them and allowance for them. And the only way to do that is to just step out of the discourse, the hateful way we're conducting politics these days, and because it's more important for everything, including Mother Earth, more important that we start growing and moving toward a love-based consciousness. That's the most important thing, rather than bickering in this political sphere that we are in right now. We have to let the rhetoric go in the same way, for the same reason. Remember I told you Yogananda, when he came to the country, people were rude to him, but he never was rude back. He just, in a very careful, respectful way, explained to them where he was at, and he was very kind about it, okay? And when he kept kind of being kind to people that were rude to him, he found himself bouncing out of this tit-for-tat, three-dimensional reality into something more expansive, okay? That's why we have to let the political world right now, as it is in this moment, go, okay? Because it keeps us bound to the three-dimensional tit-for-tat, fighting one another in separateness all the time, okay? And we have to focus inward in the ways I'm telling you and others are telling you to do, and start to do some inner work, okay? And we can't do that when our mind is distracted in this political world that absorbs all our attention, okay? So politics, then it has to be thrown in. The way it's run today has to be thrown in with the profit making, the celebrityism, the winning, and the way the political thing is working now. It's that same energy, that same idea of us being overly absorbed in it and taking us away from the inner work we have to do, the work that Mother Earth wants us to do. Okay, there's more important things than winning the political battle. Look we're headed toward unity consciousness. The leftists essentially are going to win, in a way. And now this is one thing about the leftists and the liberal coalition, is that they're not going to be able to do what I'm telling you to do. It's a religion to them, okay? Leftism and liberalism is a religion to them. They'll never be able to step out of it. Some of us will, most of us won't, because we were too personally involved in an egoic manner in our particular positions. Okay, so they're not going to be able to do this. I'm telling you straight up. I know them, and they won't do this. But it's most important for all concerned that we drop it. Okay, just drop it and start focusing on inner work. They're going to win the arguments. Okay, as we get into the fifth dimension, if we need medical attention at all, because it's going to be a whole different change. There's not going to be the sicknesses there are in this country, and the way our mass media and fast foods are making us sick. there's not going to be a need for the medical as much as there is now. But as far as other things, there's going to be a unity-based way of looking at things, one for all and all for one, rather than individuation, which is what the conservative view is. Conservative view basically is, hey, look, we've gotten this far with this regime we've got going on. Why are we screwing with it? We got one of the best countries in the history of the world. Why do we want to mess with it? That's where their attitude is, and I understand that too. But they don't understand that things aren't right. There's a lot of things that are wrong, and they think they want to stick with, let's stick the course. Why are we messing with this? We've got things pretty good, and somewhat, yes. But their faults are that they don't really know that we have to start doing things for Earth. A lot of our corporate greed is going to have to go. It's an awful, awful thing. And a lot of the corporations do a lot of damage, and they don't really want to see that. They want to say, look at, they want to, keep going because what we've done so far has worked pretty well so far. But like I say, we're going to, and the unity-based consciousness, essentially the leftist liberals are going to win. In a way, as we cross over and get into that 5D reality, because we're going to be looking at everything as a unity, in a unity-based way, all for one and one for all. But we'll be solving these issues in a much smarter way. Now, I'll trust the people in the fifth dimension to solve these. I don't trust liberals and leftists because they're not all that smart when it comes down to it. They think rigidly, and they don't. When they do things that don't work, they don't go back and fix them. They keep doing it anyway because they're egoically entwined in that, and it means egoically means something to them. They're getting ego feed from that, and they can't question whether what they've done is working or not. They keep moving on and they assume it's got to be working. I mean, if we did the right thing, it's got to work, but it doesn't work in a lot of cases, and they don't know that. So that's why we have to step out of the politics, because it's keeping us trapped in this separated 3D world that we all have to relinquish. And the way to do that is to step back, just become observers, don't take sides anymore, and begin inner working. That's the most important thing, more important than any particular political wind. Okay, that's what we have to do. And I'm going to end it right there. Our system of law is based on competition. We waste a lot of money in our system. It's a win. Who's going to win here? It turns into a competition. Much better to develop a system that just gets at the truth. Okay, how do we get at the truth here and then move on? All right. So even that's a competition that wastes a lot of money. We could be saving 70% of the money our society spends on lawyers. We could save that money. Okay. If we just went to a new model that is focused on getting at the truth of the matter and forget we don't need lawyers in the way we need them now in this competitive sort of way of winning and losing, and doesn't really matter whether the person you just got off is actually the murderer. What matters is that you win. Okay, and we have to move to a different model, although that's all going to be different in the fifth dimension also, our sense of law. There's not going to be the desire to punish in the fifth dimension there is here. It's going to be a new thing, but there's not going to be as many crazy people in the fifth dimension. Let's face it, all the crazy people that are here doing stupid things and violent things and murderous things aren't going to be in the fifth dimension. So it's not going to, we're going to be able to play with that a little bit more to the extent that that we do play with it. Funny thought of the day, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar in the 80s. He was in LA. He did an event there. After it was over, he wanted to go to Disneyland. He took a couple of, a group of his disciples. Let's go to Disneyland. That's how great these guys are. I mean, they're kids in a way, and yogis stay children in a way. So they wanted to go to Disneyland, and he had black flowing hair, a black beard. This time he was younger than he is now, and this beautiful flowing robe as he wears around. So they all get into Disneyland, and the patrons of Disneyland think that he's a Disney character. You're going, hey, look at Disney Jesus, Mommy. Can I get a picture of Disney Jesus? They thought he was Disney's Jesus. You know what I mean? The way he was dressed up, and he just plays along. Goes, yeah, sure, we can take a picture for you, sure. But all of the patrons of that day thought that he was a Disney character and that he was playing Disney Jesus. Isn't that funny? And he just plays along with it. They're greatest people. Yogis are the type of people we all want to meet in life that don't have any agenda. They're just good people. And that's my joke of the day. I am Jeff Africa, citizen of Earth, loyal patriot of the United States of America, and I stand unafraid. And these four, Mother Earth, Divine Mother, Paramahansa Yogananda, and Jeshua Ben Joseph, these are the four I've chosen to help me get from my head to my heart and create a whole brand new reality. In your heart, you live these sacred words. You live humility. You live happiness. You live joy. You live life. You live gratitude. You live wisdom. These words are no longer words. They come alive as you fall to that heart and live life through that heart chakra. Okay, and this is what we're after here. This is it's the beginning of everything, like I keep telling you, and it is the beginning of everything. Okay, I'm just telling you, it truly is. All these words, these finery words, you begin to live them. You're not just words anymore. You're bouncing around your head. Thank you very much. Nice to see you. I did a lot of stuff today, so I'm a little bit messed up, but here I am and here I go. Thank you very much.